There comes a moment in every human life and the quiet voice inside can no longer be ignored. It does not speak in the noise of the crowd. It does not shout over the chaos of your daily routines. It waits for the stillness, the moment when the world fades and you are left face to face with the truth of who you are and who you could be. In that stillness, you will hear it. Master your thoughts, and you will dominate your world. Everything begins there. Every empire, every fortune, every revolution, every masterpiece, they all started as nothing more than a seed in the mind of someone who refused to let the outside world dictate the boundaries of their inner one. Thomas Edison, before he brought light to the world, was mocked, ridiculed, and told he was wasting his time. Henry Ford was told the automobile was a toy for the rich. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, and suffered crushing personal tragedies before leading a fractured nation through its darkest hour. What did they all have in common? An unshakable dominion over their own thoughts. Understand this. Your mind is the throne, and every thought is either a loyal soldier building your kingdom or a traitor tearing it down. The world you walk through is nothing more than a reflection of the kingdom you've built inside. If your thoughts are scattered, fearful, and weak, your outer life will mirror that chaos. But if your thoughts are disciplined, powerful, and relentless, the outside world will bend to match their strength. The average person drifts through life without ever seizing command of the one thing they truly own, their inner dialogue. They let fear set the agenda. They let doubt draft the blueprint. They let the opinions of small minds become the chains around their own potential. And then they wonder why their dreams die quietly in the corner of their minds. If you do not take control of your thoughts, someone else will. The media will, the trends will, the crowd will. And the crowd has no interest in seeing you rise above it. This is why discipline of thought is not a luxury, it is survival. You cannot control the storms of the world, but you can control the captain at the helm of your mind. Your mind is like a field. Every thought you plant is a seed. Plant weeds of doubt, and your life will choke. Plant seeds of faith, courage, and purpose, and your life will bloom. But here is the law. Every great achievement in history began as a single thought, fiercely protected from the corrosion of doubt. The Wright brothers did not wait for public approval to believe they could fly. They built their vision of their own minds until it was so real internally that the world had no choice but to catch up. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. Let them design without limits, but guard them without mercy. For a single seed of fear can grow faster than a forest of faith if you allow it. When Andrew Carnegie built his steel empire, he did not start with furnaces or railroads. He started with an idea forged in clarity and sharpened with focus until the world itself bent to meet it. This is the first law. Your outer world is a slave to your inner world. You cannot dominate markets, industries, or nations until you have first mastered the terrain within your own mind. And mastery does not come by accident. It is forged in the fires of awareness, discipline, and repetition. You must wake each day with the ruthless awareness that your mind is a battleground. Every thought is either an ally or an enemy. Every emotion is either fuel or poison. Every belief is either a foundation stone or a crack in the fortress walls. The kings and queens of this world, the true masters of life, are not the ones born with power. They are the ones who seized power at its true source, the mind. And you, yes you, have that same source within you now. The question is, will you rule it or will you be ruled by it? Because the moment you claim the throne of your mind, the moment you stop letting fear and mediocrity sit in the seat meant for your vision, the world itself will rearrange to reflect your rule. The world you see is not the world as it is. It is the world as you are. Two people can stand in the same room, witness the same event, yet walk away with entirely different truths. Why? Because reality is filtered through the mind's lens. And if that lens is dirty with doubt, fear, and small thinking, your world will look. They let the opinions of others become their reality. They let yesterday's failures become today's excuses. They let fear run the show, not knowing fear is nothing more than a shadow, powerless without your attention. If you want to dominate your world, you must become the ruler of the inner kingdom first. This means catching your thoughts in the act. When your mind whispers, "You're not ready," replace it with, "I was born for this." When it says, "It's too risky," replace it with, "Risk is the price of greatness." When it screams, "What if I fail?" you roar back, "What if I fly?" Do not underestimate the power of a single thought. A single thought is the seed of an empire or the root of a lifetime of mediocrity. You plant it, you water it with focus, you feed it with belief, and soon it becomes your reality. The danger is, most people are planting weeds without even realizing it. They think in scarcity, so scarcity becomes their truth. They think in limitations, so limitations build their walls. They think in fear, so fear becomes the architect of their life. But you must think in abundance. You must train your mind to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You must learn to look at the storm and say, "This is my wind. It will carry me forward." It is not about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about refusing to give them more mental power than they deserve. Greatness begins when you realize your mind is not a mirror, it's a projector. It does not just reflect reality, it creates it. The thoughts you dwell on today will build the circumstances of tomorrow. If you keep replaying your failures, your future will feel like one long echo of the past. If you keep picturing yourself winning, growing, thriving, your future will bend to match that vision. But this is not magic, it's mastery. It is the deliberate, disciplined act of holding your thoughts to the highest standard, even when life tempts you to think small. It's the same discipline a soldier uses to keep his weapon clean, even when there's no battle in sight, because he knows the fight will come, and he must be ready. Your mind is your weapon. Then listen closely, because from this moment forward, every thought you allow into your mind is either building your kingdom or tearing it apart. You cannot plant roses and expect weeds to grow. You cannot fill your mind with doubt, gossip, negativity, and fear, and then be surprised when your life reflects that poison. Life is not unfair. It is obedient. It delivers exactly what you order through the currency of your dominant thoughts. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, once said that the man who acquires the habit of thinking in terms of wealth, happiness, and success will attract those very conditions to himself. He was not speaking of magic tricks or idle wishing. He was speaking of the law of cause and effect, the same law that governs the tides, the planets, the growth of a seed into a mighty tree. Your mind is a garden, and every day seeds are falling into it. Some are planted by you, others by your environment, the news you watch, the voices you listen to, the people you surround yourself with. If you do not guard that garden, weeds will grow without permission. If you do not consciously plant the seeds of vision, abundance, courage, and resilience, the wild weeds of fear and doubt will take over. Guard your mental soil like your life depends on it, because it does. Look back at history and you will see a pattern. Abraham Lincoln, born in poverty, self-educated, facing loss after loss, still held a vision so strong that it carried him into the White House and through the storm of a nation at war with itself. He was not the smartest man in his time, but he was among the most mentally disciplined. When the storms raged, he refused to let the weather inside his mind turn dark. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not a moment of glory. It is the quiet daily choice to master your inner conversation when no one is watching. It is rewriting the script in your head every time it tries to betray you. Your mind will test you. It will tempt you with old patterns. It will drag up memories of every failure, every insult, every time you fell short. And in those moments, you must stand as the unshakable ruler of your mental cave. And once your emotions align with your vision, your actions will become unstoppable. People will notice. They will say, "You have changed." And you will smile, knowing the truth. You did not change. You simply remembered who you really are. The person you were before fear, doubt, and failure tried to rewrite your destiny. The great tragedy of life is that most people never return to that version of themselves. They let the world mold their thoughts instead of molding the world through their thoughts. They surrender the throne of their mind to the chaos outside. Because you will not. Because you know now that every great empire in history was built twice, once in the mind and then in the world. The blueprint comes first, the vision comes first, and when your mental empire is strong enough, the outer empire becomes inevitable. This is not theory. It is the same principle Napoleon Hill planned to teaching. It is the principle Edison used to light the world. The principle Ford used to put the world on wheels. The principle Disney used to turn dreams into kingdoms. It is the principle that, if you master it, will make you unstoppable. You are not here to live as a prisoner to your thoughts. You are here to be the architect of them, the builder, the commander, the ruler of your own mental empire. Because the moment you take full command of your mind, you don't just live in the world, you shape it.